Coming up on Look Today, well, the presidential New York primaries were held today all across the state. I've got details. And intense construction is underway on Route 9 leading into Lake George. More on that coming up. And Kona Ice celebrates its annual Chill Out Day. I'll tell you what that means. I've got the details. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, I'm J. Hood Jackson, and this is Look Today. Well, in tonight's program, I sit down with Bill Osborne. He's the president of the Ben Osborne Memorial Fund, which he set up in memory of his late son. And I also sit down with Chad Rabinovitz. He's a producing artistic director of the Adirondack Theater Festival, and he's here to talk about the upcoming theater season this summer. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties. But first, we've got these headline stories. In our lead story, well, the presidential New York primaries were held today. Many people gathered at the Saratoga City Center and many places across the state to place their votes. In the days leading up to this long-anticipated moment, many New Yorkers are asking the question whether a closed primary election infringes on their democratic freedoms. Now, the New York primaries are closed. That means that voters registered with a particular party must vote for that party. Also, New York has the earliest deadline in the nation for registered voters of any party to switch their desired affiliation should they choose to do so. Now, the deadline was way back in October of last year. This means that people who are registered independents could not vote for either Democrat or Republican candidates unless they made that deadline. Well, we spoke to voter Paul Smith today about the importance of voting.
And I remember when I was in my 20s, I didn't hardly vote very much. Not because I was apathetic, because I didn't think my vote mattered. And I said, what difference does it make? I'm going to vote for the candidates who are going to lose. And so I don't want to vote for him because it's going to be a worthless vote. And I certainly am not going to vote for the guy that I was assumed to be elected.
Well, you know, it's a troubled electorate. We went on the street today to talk to a lot of potential voters, and quite honestly, nobody wants to talk on camera. So we thank him for those comments, and I think that's a sentiment that a lot of us feel. In other news, the Lake George Gateway project is expected to be completed by the end of this year. The stretch of Route 9 leading into the Lake George Village is undergoing extensive changes. Additions to the road will include new sidewalks and a center island in the roadway. The final paving, striping, and installation of the island is planned for late September through October. So, if you're driving into Lake George, expect a traffic buildup. At the moment, there's only one lane designated by 200 to 300 orange cones that the workers put out every day. So that's intensive construction work. And like I said, it's being done every day. So the crews are trying to complete as much of this project as they can before the busy tourist season. Now, once it's completed, the new makeover will accommodate all kinds of travelers who are entering Lake George, making it a lot safer as well. So we're going to keep you updated on further developments. Switching from news to weather, today brought even more sunshine, giving us a preview of the hot and dry summer that is expected to come. Also, the National Weather Service has issued a red flag warning for high wildfire danger. This is because of the wind and low humidity. So let's see how the rest of the week is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, we're going to head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast. Back to the news. Well, here's a story for you. Kona Ice in Saratoga Springs hosted its third annual Chill Out Day. This happened yesterday. Kona Ice trucks all over the country gave out free shaved ice cones to celebrate relaxation without taxation in honor of Tax Day. Well, people enjoyed the warm weather yesterday outside the Saratoga Hilton, where the Kona Ice truck was parked. And we spoke to Glenn Greco of Kona Ice.
It's all about relaxation without taxation. We're giving out free Konas for the afternoon from 12 to 3 here at the Holiday Inn in Saratoga Springs, just as a little way of taking a little relief from the tax day today.
Well, that sounds like a very good idea to me. Up next, I sit down with Bill Osborne. He's the president of the Ben Osborne Memorial Fund, which he set up in memory of his late son. Plus, I also sit down with Chad Rabinovitz. He's a producing artistic director of the Adirondack Theater Festival, and he's here to talk about the upcoming theater season this summer in Glens Falls. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. I got a couple of things for tonight's Lookout. First, I just want you to know we tape our program before the polls close, so that's why we don't have election coverage tonight, but we will have full election coverage for you tomorrow. And secondly, one of our own is celebrating a birthday. He's camera shy, so he won't. Oh, see the balloons? That was great, Andrew. There they go. Okay, more balloons. You think we're a car dealer. Jack Hojone, who's our senior creative director, turns 53 years old today. As Andrew likes to say every day, thank you, Jack, for everything that you do. So happy birthday, Jack. And then finally, I don't know if any of you have ever had an MRI. Well, I had one yesterday, and I didn't know what I was in for. So I go to North Country Imaging Center, and they ask you if you're claustrophobic, and I said, no, I'm not claustrophobic. And they stick you in this tube. Trust me, you better not be claustrophobic if they put you in this tube. And then for the next 20 minutes, I'm hearing, well, the technician, Rick, walked me through this whole process, and when I got out, told me about how this machine works. So I want to thank Rick and everybody at North Country Imaging Center for my first MRI experience. All right, tonight on Look TV, it's a Queensbury Town Board meeting. And don't forget, tune in tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.